Got some folks on here. Today, we're going to cover some FoxIT solutions, two things. Our FoxIT PDF editor, which you're currently trialing, as well as our e-sign capability. I'm Steve Krebs. I'm an account executive here. With me is Ian Vincent, who is a solution engineer. And Ian will take us through some of the most commonly used features, frequently used features by the staff there. So we're going to cover how to edit. We're going to cover forms. We're going to cover e-sign and all the key things. And I encourage people to ask questions live during this. We'll pause, but we're also up for interruptions. So don't be afraid to speak up. We want to make sure we get as many questions answered as possible. Ian, you want to take over?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Steve. Again, my name's Ian Vincent, part of the solutions team here at FoxIT. But let me go ahead and try and share my screen. Microsoft Teams will let me. It should be loading now.
Still a black screen.
Okay. Well, I've clicked it. I'm currently waiting for Teams.
I get this freeze once in a while too, Ian.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll stop it and restart it, and it happens.
I wish I could, Steve.
We see you moving your cursor, but not your screen.
That's okay. You see my cursor.
Yeah, it'll click in.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hey, Teams. There we go. No, I appreciate the patience, everyone. No, again, but let me give you a great introduction here to FoxIT. If you have any questions, please interrupt me, let me know. But I'll definitely just give a nice brief overview of everything. I'll go through all the different tabs up at the top, as you can see, as everything's sectioned. But really, guys, starting here at the Home tab, I'm really just taking a look here at FoxIT Editor. It should look and feel pretty familiar just off the start. And that's because, being a Microsoft Gold partner, we actually utilize their ribbon technology that they use in their Office products. So the exact same as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, you name it. We put that ribbon right into our software, and again, just makes it feel users at home when they're trying to get used to or acclimate to new software as well. So it just feels pretty intuitive. People are able to jump in here and just really know how it works because, again, they've used the ribbon before, and there's just there's no training involved. And 9 times out of 10, we'll offer full training, but after a POC and just having people play around with it, again, they just feel accustomed to the software. It doesn't really feel like they need to learn a whole new application. But really starting here at the Home tab, just a nice collection of the most widely used tools in the software. And if we would like to, of course, just like the ribbon, Office ribbon, we can right click and customize it. So if we would like to customize anything on the different tabs here, or any add or remove any kind of keyboard shortcuts that we would like to customize, or anything in the quick access toolbar up the very top left or the purple ribbon, we can do that right here in the customize portion. And again, I'm going to go through all the different tabs here up at the top and give some examples, but just to the left of the Home tab, we'll start here with the File menu. It's going to open up our new vertical UI, and up at the top, we can start with things like properties. So if we have a document open and we want to start here description to see how something was printed or created or designed, we'll be able to view all that information here. You can actually hop down to initial view to customize exactly how a document looks and feels for the first time when it was open. So if you want to change the page layout, maybe change even the page it's opening to, or a lot of window and UI options down below. More commonly, people will hop here to take a look at security. So document restrictions or password protections within a file, or what we're simply allowed or not allowed to do to a PDF. Pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of different fonts or the embedded fonts within the file, and some advanced options like setting a print dialog and some reading options. But hopping down here in the menu, a lot of different ways to create. As you can see, we'll go over a lot of these on the Convert tab, but any kind of blank PDFs we can start from, or anything from a scanner, or conversion from multiple files or a single file, combining files, creation from a clipboard, web page, form, and even PDF portfolios or PDF binders if you're using that today. And also next on the Open tab, of course, we can open up any kind of recent documents, anything on the computer. But again, just like Office, we have the Add a Place function. So if you're using SharePoint, iManage, OneDrive, or even things like DMS for Lego or Alfresco down at the bottom, just go ahead and click sign in, check in, and check out your files, for things like SharePoint, etc. You can go ahead and work on your files in the cloud and save them back. And of course, we can save and save as, but let's hop down to PDF optimization, where if we want to reduce the file size on a current file or multiple files, we'll be able to do that here. We have a lot of advanced optimization tools as well. So if we really want to get granular, really compress images or unembed objects or fonts or anything as well, we'll be able to use that on the PDF optimizer. But a nice little tool up at the top called audit space usage, where we'll be able to click and actually be able to tell exactly what's taking up the most room within a file. So we know now if we want to go ahead and compress images, we'll probably be able to save the most space. So a nice, easy way we can review what's taking up that room and then clear it out right afterwards. But back up to File and PDF Optimizer, where we have a specific tool here to optimize scanned PDFs as well. The Action Wizard, if we're currently using an Action Wizard in our PDF software today, we can even carry over our sequence files that we have created, or if we want to create new ones, manage those, or run a list of different actions that we have generated, we'll be able to do that here under the Action Wizard. Or maybe we want to go from PDF and export to image types, Microsoft Office, from PDF to HTML, or maybe other, where we can actually take a PDF, export all of the text just to a text document and save it quickly and easily that way. Or if you're more accustomed to using a printer with PDF, of course, we have the FoxIT PDF editor printer as well. Be able to print anything to PDF, change up the print handling, the margins, what we're printing, things like orientation. But up at the top, we have a list of properties and defaults with the printer as well. So if you always want to print to maybe the highest quality print or compress and always print to the smallest file size and automatically save some room, you can set that as a default and always use that when you use the PDF printer. Some last options here on the file menu, things like batch printing, some index options and share options as well. But I really wanted to hop down and take a look at preferences because there's a lot of different preferences or settings and things we can customize within the software. A lot of times people will hop here to documents and ask me, how do I allow things like multiple instances of FoxIT? How do I have multiple windows of the software running so I can split it, maybe put them on different monitors and so on. You can allow multiple instances here, or if you would rather have sectioned into tabs within one instance of the software, you can do that as well. But again, a lot of different things like file associations or how we're going to handle things like languages within the software, maybe how we're handling printing or searching or security within the software as well. We'll be able to, of course, change any kind of option and hit OK, but we do also recommend using the search bar up at the top. If you're looking for something specific, go ahead and search it, hit the checkbox, hit OK, and you're good to go. And again, I'm going to hop through all the different tabs up at the top. And if you have any questions during anything, please feel free to interrupt me. I guess really first and foremost, we'll go over conversion to PDF or, of course, the other way around. But starting off, there's a lot of different ways to convert. Maybe you want to highlight a group of files and you're more comfortable with using the context menus here. So we'll right click and then we'll be able to convert, combine or batch print using FoxIT here. Just whatever you're accustomed to. So if I want to combine those files, there we go. Just go ahead and click and it's going to open them all up for me. Or maybe I want to just take a Word file, click and drag right into FoxIT and have it print this Word file to PDF and have it auto open. You'll see down at the bottom, it's going to convert and print for me, and then we'll open it up and we'll be able to create a form from this Word file now. Or up at the top here on the Convert tab, of course, we can select from files, select our file, a whole folder of files, and set some defaults here for how we would like to do those conversions. But also from a scanner, if we would like to scan anything else, we'll just go ahead and select it, select our scanner, and choose all of our different options. Things like size, source, resolution, how we would like to output. Maybe this is a new PDF per file. Do we want to append it to an existing or save each page as a multiple file? And then from there, reduce the size, optimize, and even run OCR to have searchable or editable text directly from a physical piece of paper. But of course, creation from a clipboard, a web page, PDF portfolios, and a nice way to combine files here as well. Simply add your files or any open files you already have open in FoxIT, and then you can move them around and then go ahead and hit the big purple button to combine. Next, here on the Convert tab, of course, different ways to export all images from maybe a heavy image-based document like this one. We can convert them all, export them, and save them. Or maybe I want to take this PDF and save it to Word or Excel, PowerPoint, or XPS immediately. Just go ahead and click and save. There you go. Images, HTML, and again, others or text out of a file. But last but not least, we have OCR here on the Convert tool. So maybe if we have a TIFF image or again, just a a picture from our phone or maybe a scanned piece of paper from the office, we can take that image and go ahead and again add editable or searchable text directly to it. It's going to give us a nice little pop-up right here letting me know there is no recognizable text on here, but we can go up to the top here on the Convert tab and use the Recognize Text tool. And again, we can even add editable or searchable text to the current file or even a whole folder or multiple files instantly. Here in the menu, I'll choose the page range I would like to set, also the language I would like it to detect and rewrite our editable or searchable text in. Down below, be able to choose those options as well. And then we also have a tool here called Find All Suspects, but I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to let the OCR do its job. So it's going to rewrite all of the text. It's going to type it all out for me, but then it's also going to straighten and de-skew this document for me automatically too, because scanner in the office apparently isn't the best. There we go. It's going to open up this next window here called the OCR suspects yet again, but this allows us to add a bit more of a human element into the OCR process. Before it just go ahead and changes everything before my eyes, doesn't allow me to maybe deselect or remove anything. Maybe it is selecting like a company logo or an image or anything within the file that maybe we'd want to choose and let the OCR let it know it's not text. We want to leave it as is. Maybe for the rest, we can go ahead and check all and hit accept. And there we are. We're going to have all of our editable text now that we would like. So we can go up to edit, again, select on edit text, and it's going to draw the light gray boxes around our editable areas. Now we can change our fonts in. We can select anything we would like. We can even, of course, right click, spell check now if we would like to change anything. And again, it's going to match the closest font, color, styling, and everything for you automatically. But now that we're on the Edit tab, again, let's go ahead and click on Edit Text. You'll see it's going to, again, draw the light gray boxes around all of our editable spots. Again, if we just want to click in here or open up the right-hand toolbar and open up the Format tab, we can change anything we would like now. But we can also edit objects as well, and that can be text, images, shapes, and shading if we need to. But we'll just go ahead and select on the tool, maybe double click on an image, and it's going to open up our image editor. I'm not really a graphic designer, but a lot of cool different tools that should look pretty familiar up at the top, eyedroppers, paint buckets, burn tools, and so on. But maybe I just want to add a quick filter and go ahead and hit save. It's going to go ahead and save it right back into the file. Don't need to export it, maybe edit it in our photoing application, re-import it, get it to fit and be within the document a bit better. It's all just within the application. Next on editing, though, we can link and join text boxes. This is a nifty little tool because a lot of the times, maybe again, from this Word file, we created this PDF, but these boxes aren't connected anymore. So now if I want to link them together and maybe edit the text now, forgot a small sentence down here at the bottom, but now you can see they're actually linked together and they're going to flow from one box to another like they are, one again. But also check spelling, search and replace are here in the Edit tab. But up at the very top right of the software, we always have the Find feature, or the drop down here if you need to use the advanced search, search and replace, redact, and highlight are available here too. Of course, if we want to add text, just go ahead and click and add your text onto the document. Go ahead and add our text, and again, we can select it, change the color, the font, the style, or anything over here on the right-hand side. If you want to add images, we can do that here, of course, from a file or from the image editor. We can add shapes and shading here from the drop-down as well. Reflow editing is available, or article box mode if we want to reflow text around things or help create articles or quickly edit different documents. But next we have different links that can be created. Maybe you want to go ahead and just draw a clickable link area here, and then more importantly, where we want that link to go. We can give it a border or a thickness here if we would like. But maybe we want to go this to a page view or a name position or a bookmark. We can open or execute a file or an attachment, open up a web link, or a lot of different others that can be customized as well. But if we just want to simply go to a page view, let's go ahead and scroll down to where we would like this to go. And then we'll go ahead and set this position. There we go. So when we click on this spot, it's going to snap us right to where we just selected it to. But next we have bookmarks. So now that we're on page 4 here, let's go ahead and click on bookmark. It's going to open up our left-hand toolbar now, where I can go ahead and add our title here for page 4. But now that I have it selected, I can right-click, and if I want to reset this destination or import different bookmarks or anything, or export, or maybe go to properties for this bookmark specifically, change up the appearance, or again, the action of exactly where that bookmark is going to go when it's selected. And once we have all of our bookmarks within the file, we'll click on the Options button here. A lot of different options having to do with bookmarks, but down at the very bottom, we can generate a table of contents based on those bookmarks as well. To wrap up here on the Edit tab, cross-referencing is available. File attachments, image annotations, we can embed audio and video into a PDF file, and also 3D support if you need it. All right, let's hop over to the Organize tab next. And honestly, one of the ways I think FoxIT really shines is with quick, easy organization. So now that we have our open menu here on the left-hand side, we can actually hop down to the thumbnail view just below bookmarks, where we can look at our document from more of a top-down perspective. So maybe if I wanted to grab these 2 pages here and just simply drag the map to the end, or maybe I want to shift click and grab half of this file and now right click and extract this to a new document. Or maybe swap these pages, move them around, resize and crop them, or print this to a new file as well. Or I can just maybe select and interact with one page. If I wanted to select page 8 here and now reverse it or insert a new file from a folder or anything that I would like. Once we're done with organization, just snap this back over to the left and you're good to go. But also up at the top, again, we can insert from a variety of different ways. We can delete pages, extract them, reverse or rearrange them. But it's a nice, easy way just to look at the thumbnail view and get it to organize very quickly and easily. If we would like to split, of course, we can use the split tool up at the top. We can choose exactly how we would like to split our document and hit OK. We can also swap pages around or use the interleave function to actually choose 2 different files to interleave those pages together and merge them. We can rotate pages, crop them, resize, or flatten them here on the Organize tab. And we can also add quick watermarks as well. Just go ahead and choose the watermark via text or maybe an image you would like to use. Change up the appearance and the positioning of that watermark. And then up at the top, you can save it as a default. So you can quickly apply it to a new file or even apply watermarks to a whole folder of files instantly if you need. Same with backgrounds, but let's hop over to header and footer as well. Should look pretty familiar, where again, we can set defaults up at the top, but let's go ahead down below and let's set a left footer text of our page number. Easy enough. But down, let's go to the right footer. Let's change our macro to maybe a date or a file name. We'll go ahead and insert as here as well. We always have our preview down at the very bottom. So if we want to go back up top to change our margins to get anything to fit a bit better, very easy to do. You hit OK, there we go. It's going to add our header footer. Last but not least, Bates numbering is available here and a nice easy way to format page numbers if we need it.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions from people who are remote,
Sure.
So bear with me here.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
The first one is, can you add a highlighted border?
Add a highlighted border. I mean, I guess you could do like a drawing here. It's a rectangle. Maybe if you wanted to have a border here, you could highlight it or select it and then, double click to change maybe something like the coloring or something here as well. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely, just depending on how you would like to do it, you could definitely get that done.
Okay.
Just trying to think how you maybe were they thinking maybe with the if we go to edit here, we click maybe the link area. So they're thinking about a border, with this link that could be created. But yeah, you can definitely do that as well.
Okay. And I think that'll go into the next question. Some of our environment here is Acrobat X Pro. The majority are on DC Pro. So kind of with that in mind, if you're familiar, there is a markups section in Adobe. Do you know where a markups equivalent would be, or does that come from the shapes that we kind of just looked at?
So they're probably more comment tools. I mean, we have the drawings and shapes here. We have the stamps here that are available as well. Are we thinking for markups? Are we talking about more like tick mark icons and things like that? Or what do we mean specifically with markups?
Sorry, forgive me. I got a screenshot here from
okay.
Adobe, and there's a drawing markups dropdown. And then within that, there are just looks like different shapes or.
So that sounds like, yeah, that's a markup plugin. So that doesn't come with Acrobat. That's a separate subscription that you all have. But we are adding tick marks, which is probably what they're looking for in the next version of FoxIT. editor. So we will have that tick mark equivalent. It sounds like they're using the Pro Systems FX plugin for Acrobat to allow that. So we'll actually have that natively within FoxIT soon. Again, a lot of these different subscriptions that people have to pay for these separate plugins for Acrobat, we're adding that natively into FoxIT. Here's a good example right here is the accounting calculator. For Acrobat, you have to pay a different subscription and a plugin service to have something like this. But if you wanted to create a tape within FoxIT, just go ahead and use it natively within the application, and then you can create that tape here as well. So that's a great question.
If I could also, I think that's if I'm understanding the comment and call out question is they do have call outs and text box and comments where you can highlight things you might want changed. I'm not quite sure if that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, I have minimal information here, so apologize.
That's okay.
But I can follow up or walk through a couple different potentials and see if that fixes it. Lastly, with respects to adding text box, the comment that I have here is I tried adding text. It makes you recognize text and scans the whole document first. Once I make a text box, how do I turn it off making text boxes? As when I click off of it, it just makes another one.
Probably selecting the hand tool, but it sounds like they're trying to edit text on a document that doesn't have editable text. So yeah, they'll have to run the OCR like I just showed to add that editable or searchable text, and then they'll be able to edit it afterwards. They're just trying to add a comment box. They'll just go to the comment tab, check text box like I just drew on here. I'll draw another one for you, but we just draw a text box, then I can add my comment, directly to here. So really just depends on exactly what they're trying to do. Are they trying to edit existing text on a document, or they're just trying to add, a comment over that? So shouldn't be any issues with either, though.
Yeah, and again, I think from my personal experience in testing this, if you add a text box, you can add a text box even to a graphic image. So yeah, if you want to go to Ed and just do an add text there for me. And I think the key, what you're describing is, so go ahead and add some text in here, but notice the cursor is still an add text cursor. So if you click somewhere else, you're going to add more text.
Yep. Exactly.
So when you're done with the text, you want to go up to the hand, and that's pretty true of almost any system.
You can hit the hand tool or escape on your keyboard is, kind of what I do. Naturally, so exactly. Yeah, and again, that's Acrobat. That's any kind of software. It's going to have that tool selected until you select hand or hit escape to deselect the tool. Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Cool. Let's hop over some commenting then. Sounds good. Again, on the comment tab, pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to add comments to our PDF file. Of course, we can start at the very top left. Just add some quick highlighting to some text if we need to. There we go. But we can also, of course, change the highlighting coloring on the right-hand side if we need. With any kind of comment feature, and this could be highlighting text. This can be a note here if I want to add it. We'll get a pop-up here to add our comment, but with any comment feature, we can right-click and go to properties of a comment, because we'll be able to select and edit note properties. Again, maybe the color or the opacity of that note, but more importantly, the general information, who created it, the review history, so any status changes to this comment will be logged here. But for things like the note type, we actually have an icon on the page, so we can actually change that image if we want to and point it to exactly what we're leaving our comment on. But different things, again, like the typewriter, just go and select, click, and you can add that comment directly to the sheet. Text box, or my favorite, the call out box. Let's go ahead and click and drag. We'll add a call out pointing to exactly, again, what we're leaving our comment on. Different shapes here: rectangles, polygons, arrows, polylines even. Or if you'd like to leave your comment using the pencil and eraser tool with your mouse, if you're really good with that, or you have a touch tablet or a stylus or anything, you can just draw the comment directly onto the file. Area highlighting, if we want to select and maybe just highlight an area, but maybe not have to select any kind of image or any kind of text or anything. But we also have the search and highlight available as well. Different measuring tools, distance, perimeter, and area are here if you need it. We just went over the accounting calculator, but that's just a quick, easy way we can create a calculation tape and apply that comment to the file. Stamps are a pretty big one here. A lot of dynamic or static or standard stamps down below, but we can just go ahead and click on one here. Maybe I reviewed this document and now I can click and drag and resize the stamp before applying. Or maybe we want to come next door and go to custom stamps, where we can generate a custom stamp by simply uploading an image, or we can come down below and generate or create a dynamic stamp as well. Maybe choose an icon or an image that you'd like to use, and then maybe you can also upload it if you have one available again as well. Then we can add that the dynamic information to our stamp. So let's give it a quick category. We got it a name, but down below we'll be able to select maybe things just like simply the author's name. Do we just want to add the date and time? Maybe the whole thing, the author's name, date and time, like I just showed you. So we'll add it. We'll be able to get it to fit into our image and get it to resize before applying it. We'll hit OK, and then we got our stamp. We'll go ahead and select it.
I've got a quick question on the stamps.
Yes.
You mentioned you can make customizable stamps. Are we able to make customizable stamps that are then shared across the organization, or is it only for your individual instance?
No, that's a great question. And actually, yeah, you can share them. If I hop over here to the roaming folder, if we actually just hop in here to FoxIT, FoxIT editor, the stamp folder is right here. So if you wanted to actually take all of your existing stamps, even if users are having stamps in Acrobat, stamps are honestly, you can see PDF files themselves. So if they have any existing stamp, a simple copy and paste from their Acrobat into this FoxIT folder, they're going to have any kind of generated or created stamps that they're using today. But if you would also like to create a collection of stamps, you can then share this PDF file, copy and paste it, or even embed it into the deployment MSI package, and everyone's going to have that same collection or that same set of stamps that you've created for them. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Awesome, thank you.
You're very welcome. And once we're done with commenting, let's go ahead and summarize them. We can do that, of course, with connecting lines on separate pages or all together. We can export just the comments if we need to, or a sequence of numbers, again, on separate pages or all in one sheet. We can, of course, customize exactly what kind of paper, just to get it all fit and not have to be squished down if we need to. Importing and exporting comments are here. And of course, we want to manage those and hide them. Not a problem as well. Let's get our document back to a vanilla state and hide them all. Not a problem. Right next door, we have the View tab. Pretty self-explanatory, but how do we want to view our document? A lot of different read modes, as you can see, reverse, night, or text viewer. If we just simply want to rotate the view, but not the file, not a problem. We can toggle a ruler off and on, and that can be customized here as well. But if we want to change up exactly how we're looking at it, of course, we can have the facing, the continuous facing as well, and see all of the pages. We can snap from one page to the next, of course, or go ahead and hit that continuous and see all the spaces between. But we have the read out loud function or the auto scroll here as well. But last but not least, the compare tool. So if we want to compare, simply an A and a B or an old and a new file, go ahead and select them. And down below, we can even choose options and choose exactly what we would like to compare. Just text, just tables, and how do we want to mark all of those results? So when it generates our comparison results page, it's going to look and feel exactly how we would like it to. Next, we'll hop over to forms. Just like earlier, we have the HIPAA form that I created here from our Word file. I'm just going to click on Run Form Field Recognition up at the top, and that's it. It's going to scan through. It's going to automatically add any kind of text fields, any kind of checkboxes for me as well. But also, it's going to identify any signature areas. So if I want to click and sign with a Windows certificate now, there we go. So we have our form generated. But if we would like to add anything up at the top, we can add new push buttons, maybe barcodes or signature boxes or text boxes, of course, to this document. But over on the left toolbar now, we have all of our fields generated. So now if I wanted to click on anything and open it up, I can right click and edit the properties, of course, of any of these and go ahead and change up any text field properties that I need. So for this, date box up at the top right, we can go ahead and maybe have it set to read only or required, if we need them to fill that out. If we want to change up the appearance of this form, we can change up the font size, the font, the direction, and the color, of course. The positioning of it on the file, but more importantly, a lot of different options, things like alignment. Do we want to limit characters, have it to be password protected, check spelling, or just simply be a multi-line text box. But we know for this one, this is a date box, so we'll choose our format, we'll choose date, and of course, we'll choose the format that we would like to use. But if we want to add any validation, we can do that here on the Validate tab. If we would like to add any kind of calculation, of course, choose how you would like to do that. pick the fields you would like to calculate, and there you go. But a lot of different actions can be customized here as well. So depending on the trigger that we would like to use, mouse up, down, exit, and so on, we can actually select an action and execute that. So that can just be a push button, for instance, that'll import form data, maybe open up a web link or an attachment when it's pushed, maybe run JavaScripting, or even submit a form if we have a submit button at the very end. If we click on add, we can even customize exactly how that experience is going to work. So for the submit button, we can even choose the export format. Maybe we want to submit the whole PDF, or maybe just the XDF, or the form data file here as well. Even choose that submission process, email, FTP, or HTTP, or save it even locally to a network share, and of course, exactly what you would like to capture. But there we go. We changed our date box. We'll choose the drop down. We'll continue filling out our PDF file. So now we have our form created. Let me go ahead and hit save here. We'll save our form. And we'll be able to use that in just a little bit for eSign. But also, again, on the form tab up at the top, we can set up page templates if we would like to, calculation orders, or add tooltips to our forms. We can quickly reset our form if we would like. There we go. Import and export form information. And also, again, last but not least, adding JavaScript here as well. Next, on the Protect tab, we'll start with some redaction. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab another document here. We got our Social Security page or our Word file. Let me click and drag right into FoxIT so we can go from Word, do some redactions, and then you can save it as a secured PDF. So here we go. Here on the Protect tab up at the top left, I'll begin marking for redaction via text and images. We can also redact whole pages, and we have search and redact as well. Once I choose it, it's just going to let me know we need to mark for redaction and then apply it. Easy enough. So we'll start drawing our boxes over all of our redacted areas, maybe grabbing some text here as well that we would like to remove. And now that we have them all selected, we can right click. We can go down to properties for redactions. If we want to set up redaction properties and use things like overlay text, of course, not a problem. Or we can even, of course, maybe remove a redacted text that we have and use something like a redaction code instead. Select the code you'd like to use and hit OK. But down below, we can click on Edit Codes again. We're here if we want to add a set or remove it, or if we have code sets ready to go, we can import those sets into FoxIT from Acrobat or your current PDF software and have all of your custom code sets ready to go instantly. And of course, we can also, down at the bottom, set a current default for redaction. So again, if you're using overlay text with a very customized outlook, or maybe even a code set down below that you're constantly using, you can set that as your default, not a problem. And a nice little shortcut, maybe if we wanted to right click here and use and just pick up a redaction code very quickly on the context menu, we have that available here as well. Now that we're done, let's go back up to the top. Or again, we can redact whole pages if we need to, but let's run the search and redact on this file and remove something specifically. So over on the right, it's going to open up our search window. We can search in the current PDF file, but if we also need to search and redact in all files or all PDF files within a document folder, not a problem as well. We can look for an exact word or phrase, multiple words or phrases, also redaction profiles. If we're using those today, again, kind of like the code sets, we can manage and import your profiles here and immediately start using those redaction profiles. But last but not least, we can look for search patterns, and a pattern can be a lot of different things like a phone number, a date, a social, email, credit card, international bank account, or even driver's license numbers as well. So we'll choose social and also the country or region we would like to look for that format in. Then we'll just hit search. And of course, found our Social Security format right here. And over on the right, we'll be able to choose any options that it found within the file down at the bottom and go ahead and mark it for redaction. Now that we're done, we can go ahead and apply on the bottom right, or we can go back up to where we started and apply our redactions here in the drop down. And this is giving us a pop-up letting us know this is permanently going to be redacted. This is not just adding a black text box or an image over this area. This is also known as true redaction. So once we hit OK and we hit save, there is no going back. We can, of course, use our Word file or the file that we first had before we converted. But once we save this redacted file, there is no way to remove it moving forward. So let's go ahead and save it. I'm going to hit downloads. There we go. And we'll save it there. We'll save our redacted version. But now that we have this redacted file, we can go up to the top and we can click on whiteout. So if we wanted to white out any kind of information, for instance, maybe this top title or header here for Social Security Administration, we'll go ahead and white it out just like whiting out, a piece of paper. But more importantly, we can white out text, we can white out images, but any kind of referencing metadata within this document, maybe it's going to reference the top title or header from a different one down below. And again, any kind of referencing metadata, anything pointing to this text existing in the past will also be deleted as well. So not only can we not see it, it never existed in the document to begin with based on the actual data in the PDF. Now that we have this redacted, we can also apply a password protection as well. Let's go ahead and enter in our password that's going to be required when the PDF file is opened. Easy enough. But more importantly, if we want to go a step further, we can add document restrictions here too. Go and put in a password, hit on permissions, and we can choose exactly what kind of permissions we would like to change up or restrict printing and editing. So maybe for this one, no printing, a low resolution or maybe a high resolution print is okay for this. But more importantly, again, what changes do we want to allow? Do we want to lock it down so nothing can be changed? And there we go. Or maybe we're creating a PDF form, and more commonly, we want to have a user fill out the form and sign the existing signature field area. So we'll select it and we'll hit OK. There we go. We can offer up to 256-bit AES encryption as well when it comes to protection of these PDF files. Integrations with Azure here to restrict access or apply sensitivity labels as well. Let's hop over to fill and sign, where again we can change or just select an image here to apply a signature. We can hit the plus icon to manage our signatures if we want to just type in our name and use a font. Of course, we can draw it, which is a bit more fun. We can import it if we just have an image locally, paste it if we have it copied, or if we have it online in our FoxIT account, we can download it as well. Here we can add different code fields or predefined text if I just want to maybe select a date and add it next to my signature. Or maybe we want to add maybe a checkbox. If we want to add checks or different icons or X's here, just quickly as we fill out our form. But next, to fill and sign, we have sign and certify, where I can place a signature or a Windows certificate directly onto the PDF form. Then, of course, choose exactly which one I would like to sign with. Once we select it, we can also then choose our style or appearance and customize exactly what kind of information we're showing below. We can even have a company logo and things in the background here if we hit create and customize the logo. But down below, we can even choose a location, a reason, and lock the document after signing, as this is the only signature being applied to the PDF file. So we'll go ahead and redact it. We'll go ahead and sign it and save it. And yeah, I want to save over my last one. Let's apply our signature, and there we go. Well, next, we'll hop over to FoxIT eSign. Again, I'll show that workflow here in just a little bit, but using the tab up at the top, if I would like to maybe create and take this HIPAA form and then request a signature on it or check the document status of all of our documents, we can use that here on the FoxIT eSign tab. But quickly on the Share tab, we can integrations with Evernote or OneNote, or if you want to email in PDF directly, or we have a send or shared review feature here where we can collect comments and collaborate on a file. So let me again go ahead and save our file here. Oh, I didn't hit the save. There we go. So let's save it, and now we can do comment collaboration. So if we'd like to save this to a network folder and have users be able to, again, add their comments to the file directly, use a SharePoint workspace depository or an email review up at the top. So they can add that file to the DMS, the email, and then be able to, again, do comment collaboration and add comments all together. Be able to track all of your requests as well here on the Share tab. Next, accessibility. We can auto tag documents and form fields here at the start. We can perform full checks or generate accessibility reports based on our PDF files. So from there, we can change up the reading order. We can set some alternate text or maybe change up the area reading order as well. To wrap up here on the Help tab, the user manual is built right into the software. So we can open it up. That's fully bookmarked, fully searchable, and it's honestly a great resource that I still use every day. But if you're a bit more of a visual learner, we can actually go here to the Start tab, click on Video Tutorials. Well, these are just links to our YouTube page. If you want a quick refresher on how do I edit using FoxIT, organize, or maybe annotate and add comments using Editor, be able to have a nice, again, just a couple of minute refresher there on YouTube. As I'm sure some of you saw, if you actually hover over a lot of these different features, there's the Tell Me More window that opens down below. If you click that, it's going to open up the Help Center on the right-hand side. Best practice and tips on how do I use certain tools, or exactly what do they do and what are they used for. But last but not least, the tell me what you want to do function up at the top with the light bulb here. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this within Office, but if you're new to the software and you immediately want to go ahead and do some redaction, just go and type in redact. So you can immediately start using the tools and redacting via text and images. There we go. Maybe you just want to type in text just to see what you can do. Maybe you want to edit, maybe apply OCR, or maybe edit objects in text as well here as well. So a lot of different help, a lot of different ways to, of course, get resources and get that help within the software. And I know this is a bit of a crash course, but let's hop over to the FoxIT eSign side. And I'll
Ian, can I stop you for 1 sec? Because eSign,
Yeah.
I want it to be its whole topic. I have a question, and then if anybody has any questions on everything but eSign, this is a good time to ask them. One of my questions is, how do we take a document that's been commented, highlighted, et cetera, and just save an absolute clean copy that we can then share?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're going to go up to comment, and you're going to manage those comments. You can hide them if you would like here as well. Pop-up notes and things, but you can also, this is actually a great way to do it. We're going to go up to File, and we're going to use the printer, because the printer here would actually print what? You can actually choose exactly what you would like to choose or send to the printer. So are we going to send markups and stamps? Are we just going to send form field information, or just the vanilla document that we would like printed? Remove everything else, and you can just go ahead and print that very quickly to PDF, to a physical printer, and then have that extra copy if you need it.
Okay, so when we do something like a save or a save as, is there any way to do it as clean, or we have to go through the print mechanism?
I don't believe so. That's a good question. I don't think there's a way to, because essentially a comment is essentially kind of like a layer. So if you're adding comments, yeah, really the only way would be to come here on the left and maybe hide the comments, or again, yeah, just manage them and remove them. But
right, I'm talking about more for like after internal review, the comments are done. Now we want to distribute it, say, to the client. I want to make sure it's clean.
Yeah, I would definitely just use the printer then. That'd probably be the best way.
Okay. Anybody else, Trip, any more incoming questions?
I don't believe so.
Great.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and walk through an eSign workflow. Here at the webpage, I'm just going to click on Azure. I'm just going to sign me in via SSO. And then here we'll be able to do just a quick eSign workflow. But here at the home page, up at the very top, we have a nice little dashboard. Any specific documents that are waiting for my signature, I can click and view. Any documents waiting for others, any drafts or completed documents, we can just click up and, of course, view them. But down below, if you want to upload maybe a specific, just one-off kind of file and go ahead and upload it and request a signature on it, we can do that here. But integrations with Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, and OneDrive if you have anything there as well. Of course, just drag and drop your files and you're good to go. But if you would rather use more of a template, of course, we can create and manage those templates. You can add roles and recipients to those templates, and that can actually be done via an email link, or we can create an actual postable link that I'll show you here in just a little bit. And that's going to be created here, sent here at the very bottom right as well, just as a nice shortcut. But down at the very bottom, support tickets, the knowledge base, help videos, and we actually have weekly webinars as well. So if you'd like to join, anyone on your team can ask questions and view the webinar anytime they would like. Let's go back up to the top, just to the right of home. We'll click on Documents. We're pretty self-explanatory. Here's all the documents that I've sent out and I'm tracking. We'll be able to see the name, who received it, some actions here just to simply view or download it, date sent, and of course, last but not least, the status. So we can see if these have been executed or fully signed, or maybe down below, we can see one has only been shared here. So we can actually open up this HIPAA form or the shared file, and then go ahead and send a reminder to that user to sign it and send it back to us, please. But here in the documents, again, we can click and view them, we can download them, or just essentially keep track of them and filter them if we would like to see just completed or just canceled or expired files as well. But let's go up to the top again. We're going to click on templates, where you name it, it's going to see all of our template pages. Or if we want to maybe select something like a HIPAA form, and up at the top, generate a quick online link. And then we can just go ahead and email that to everybody, or embed it locally into an intranet page or on our website. So when they just click on the link, it'll open up the document and then they can fill it out. And of course, you'll be able to track all of those filled out forms and be able to see them all here and export it to Excel if you need to. But if
on those, when you do, if you were to email that link to several people, they would each get their own form. Is that the idea?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's just a nice way you can just generate a link, give everyone their exact nice clickable one-time link that they click, fill it out and send it to you. But yeah, that can be, filled up by 200 people just on one link if you need it.
Okay.
Great question. Sure. I would rather go the more traditional email route. Of course, we can just click on something like our W9 and it's going to open up within here. So if, of course, we would like to select any of these, change up the text field properties on the right, make things mandatory, change up the name or a value, and you can see there's a lot of different things we can customize. Or if this is more of a one-off file, because this one's good to go, if we're maybe just requesting a signature on maybe just, again, a converted Word document or an individual PDF, we can click and drag. Maybe add that signature here that you want to request or have someone fill out. Maybe add initials, or the signer name will actually be filled in automatically. There's a lot of different things down below. Text field, text boxes, even radio buttons or drop downs, or attachment fields can be added. So this is like new hire documentation. I can add this attachment field, and then they can, of course, upload and or attach their own documents to this PDF. But a lot of different things, secure fields as well. If we're using things like credit cards and we would like to hide or mask those using a secure field or a hyperlink or accept or decline buttons that can be interacted with as well. But we're good to go on this W9. We have everything filled out. We've got a signature box, date signed, and everything good. So up at the top, I'm just going to go ahead and click on send. Let's go ahead and start our process. Well, here we'll be able to add things like the signing sequence, which I believe you were asking for earlier. So let me go ahead and just start in typing in, and I would like our user here. I'm going to hit from our dropdown. I'm going to select them here. So we have the address book within here as well. We can, of course, import all of your address books. You have the dropdown of users that can be selected, or you can type it in and go ahead and hit add new and add that user. But I can also hit add me, and it's going to automatically put me in part of the chain and have me CC'd. So I'll get, emailed any kind of updates or signatures that are done here. But now that we have multiple users, we can enforce a signing sequence. So just like you used to today with DocuSign or Acrobat Sign, you'll be able to build that sequence. So user 1 will fill out and sign, which will then initiate to user 2, user 3, and user 4, and so on. And then build that signing sequence or that order. But we do also have in-person signing options. So if you would rather select, maybe this is an in-person signature, maybe using a laptop or a touch tablet or something like that, where we can initiate and actually have the witness selected who is doing that in-person signature with the user. And in terms of authentication, if we need to meet different compliances or different authentications, again, we can use SMS or mobile two-factor, an email two-factor authentication, or a phone, or a more advanced user-defined or a knowledge-based authentication as well. All right, we'll go ahead and click on next. We've got myself and the user within there. Now we'll go ahead and choose our email template. So from the drop-down, of course, we can have hundreds within here as well. Choose the drop-down or the template that you would like to set. And there we go. Default languages can be selected too if you would like to have that converted. But now we can edit our document. If we would need to add more pages or anything that we would like to request them to sign here at the final step, we can save and close it and come back later and send, or I can just go ahead and, of course, hit send now. So there we go. As the admin, now we'll see our envelope timeline on the right-hand side and our blank file that we're selecting or requesting to have signed. But let me hop now to our different browser, and I'll show you from the experience from the actual user side. So we're going to get an email here. This will have your company name via FoxIT eSign, and it's going to ask, just to please review and e-sign the document titled W9. Company logos and things will be able to be customizable within here as well, and I'll show you that in just a second. But the user will just simply click on, of course, the big orange button that says view document, and there we go. And it doesn't matter if they're using maybe iOS or Android and they're on their phone, maybe they're maybe on a Mac or even a Linux. As long as they have an internet browser, it's going to open up and they'll be able to fill it out. They don't need to have Acrobat. They don't need to have a FoxIT installed. As long as they have a browser that can open this up and allow them to type in the information, there's no problems there. Hit things like checkboxes, anything that applies. And of course, once we're good, we'll go ahead and just click on signature. The user will be able to change their signature if they would like. Of course, they can type in their name. We can draw it. Of course, it's a lot more fun. Or we can import an image if we have one locally. Or we'll go ahead and hit draw. Actually, we can change the color here as well. We'll hit sign, and there we go. It's going to auto-complete that date for me too. And now that I'm done as the user, I can even go up to the top right and click on more actions if I need to. So if I have a reason to decline to sign this document, and of course state to the admin as to why I'm declining, maybe they didn't even spell my name wrong or they sent me the wrong document to sign. I can download it, I can print it, or I can even save this session for later. So maybe if I only get halfway through, I'll save it and come back by just hitting the link in the email. Easy enough. But we'll just go ahead and click on finish. It's going to go ahead and process, upload, and go ahead and complete for me. And there we go. Now that we're done, we'll of course be able to save or download if I would like to, but we can also print or email this if we need to now that it's completed. And now as the admin, let's hop back and we'll just simply refresh this. And on the right-hand side, we'll see the envelope timeline is now green, thumbs up across the board. Everything's been signed and executed here on the right. And now at the very bottom of this document, we'll have our signature certificate page. It's the last page of every signed PDF. It's going to have envelope reference and document reference points, but also who signed it or created it, the date and the time that it was completed, but also who signed it and when, the location, their IP address, but also the signature used, and last but not least, the document history, when it was printed, when it was created and sent and signed step by step, who did it and what accessed this document to sign it. And of course, down up at the top right, we'll be able to view this signature certificate page separately if we need to save that for anything. But download, of course, we can save it, we can print this or do anything we would like with the completed file.
Do we have a company portal or separate URL for this part of eSign, or does it link out from the FoxIT app when the users click on eSign or FoxIT?
So all of the administration will be done from our admin console. So this will be your central point of licensing. So exactly, everyone will be licensed for things like FoxIT PDF editor, for things like eSign, even things like mobile or our cloud editor as well. You know, via SSO or SAML if you would like to set up in user Active Directory and SSO for licensing. Or email and password as well, but it'll all be done through our admin console that we can set up. We can give you a trial for that as well, but you'll just simply give access to editor and eSign from here, and then the user will just either log in here to the web page, or if they have access to editor and eSign, of course they'll just sign into editor, and they'll also have things like the tab up here at the top within the actual editor product as well.
Yeah, I think you have some envelopes in your admin console trial, Matthew, right?
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Ian, I think the big question there was, is there a place that our users, not our admins, can go on a website and get direct access to their eSign portfolio and whatever documents they're dealing with?
Yeah, so they'll just log in here. It's just foxitesign.foxit.com. And once they log in, you click on documents. That user will be able to see all of their tracked documents, view them, download them, do anything they would like. So that is user by user, but of course the manager of a SO department will be able to see everyone under their umbrella. And then of course up at the top, the IT or the super admin will be able to see everything within the FoxIT eSign instance.
Okay.
Cool.
Are there multiple tiers to that within your department? So can it build up all the way, say, to the CEO?
It'll be the super admin of the account. If the CEO is the super admin, then yeah, you could do it that way. Or you could have multiple super admins, and you can have multiple people kind of see access. So if you have
not so much admins, but can I have, as you mentioned, there's like a group, and then that manager of that group can see the documents within the group.
Yes.
Can then there be a manager of the managers?
Yes. Oh yeah, it's like an umbrella system. It can kind of keep going up, and yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like the pyramid. Yep.
Just to get clarity, so let's say we have one department comprised of 5 people, and let's say they send something out to be signed, but one of those 5 are out sick or vacation, whatever. Can any of the other 4 view and see where the status is, or is it only the manager of that department that can look to see?
It would only be the manager, but they can set up vacation rules to then, of course, grant access to a different user to, help them out while they're on vacation or things like that as well. Yep.
And as the, say I'm a super admin, can I reassign a document if somebody is unexpectedly out?
I believe you can. That's a good question. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. I'll have to ask the eSign team. But yeah, I believe you can just kind of reassign that to a different user, or even as the admin, just kind of take control of that document during that instance. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. It's a good question.
Is it possible to send documents out not in your name? a lot of the documents we send out now are from a commercial app, Thomas St. John email address. So they're all coming from one place rather than, you know, hodgepodge of different people.
Yeah.
Is there any way to kind of centralize that?
Well, it's going to say it's coming from you all via FoxIT eSigns. So I guess it will say it's coming from the user, but I'm not sure if we can like mask that with kind of an email address. I'll have to ask the eSign team. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, great. Let me hop and we'll just quickly go over the settings here. Well, we have a few more minutes, but if we wanted to come up here to the top and change company info, of course, but we can go down to custom branding, where like I showed you earlier, we can have your company logo show up in the things like signature certificate fields, the signature sessions, the emails, and all of that as well. But there's a lot of different sending and signing options. So if you wanted to customize maybe allow recipients to have a delegate sign for them, or even allow signers to complete documents without signature fields required. Radio buttons, check boxes, just depending compliance for different reasons within the file. But different defaults can even be set. So if you want to set a default and have someone force them to draw their signature, and then force it so they can only draw their signature. Things like in-person signing that requires, you know, that wet signature on the actual tablet or machine. But a lot of different things can be customized just depending on exactly how you would like that experience to be for you and your users. But different notifications, of course, different options here for online forms, a lot of different security options, of course, as well. Defaulting authentications or allowing who can actually delete documents. But down below, reminders and expiration, I get asked quite a lot, is how do we enable automatic reminders? You know, how do we want to set intervals? What about the expiration? How many times do we want to ask a user to please sign this file, you know, kind of before we give up? And of course, on the left, different APIs, different webhooks can be generated. If we want to use API within eSign Enterprise to automatically back up signed documents, maybe to your own SharePoint repository, a lot of different things can be, of course, customized and automated using the API plugins. So any questions now that we've gone over FoxIT eSign as well?
I have a request if nobody has any questions. I'm wondering if it would be possible for you to say, go back to your national parks document and just say, please sign here and do a very quick, I want to kind of see the workflow and the complexity of a simple signature request.
Sure. Yeah, actually, I'm not signed in completely to my editor. So give me 1 second to sign in here and yeah, I'll show you that workflow. All right, cool. Now that I'm signed in, reshare here. Yeah, so with the national parks, if we wanted to just take this one right here, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to go FoxIT eSign, and I'm just going to click on Request Signature. Easy enough. Oh, I need to save my file. That's right. There we go. It's going to save it for me. It's going to upload. So if I just click on Request Signature, it's going to take the PDF file, open up a new tab for me, and this should look pretty familiar now that we just did the entire eSign process. But from here, of course, like I showed you, we'll be able to drag that signature field onto the document. We can add more documents or, you know, of course, more files we'd like them to see. We can then just simply add our user, hit them from the drop down here. I can, of course, add myself as well, but, you know, I don't need to fill out the fields or anything. Yep. I'm just going to be CC'd. Yeah, we'll hit next. And over the left, I'm just going to take signature. We're going to request them to sign it right here. So if this is like a PO or one-off file, yep. You know, again, you can just click and drag, add the signature here and hit send. And that's really all it takes. Choose your email template and you're good to go. And that user is going to get that email. And again, just within our email inbox, we can hop back here. Again, I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to sign it. So we'll view the document. Now as a user, I'm just going to click and sign and be finished. Yeah, it's really as easy as that. Click and drag, add your signature field area, have them click and sign it. And of course, they can even, you know, change their signature or anything as well too.
Yep. Okay, very nice. And I do have one more question queued up. Is the email templates, how customizable are they? Can we customize the font and everything from what is sent out? We kind of have a global.
Yeah, you can. It's actually
Standard.
pretty neat. If you go to email templates here on the left, even things, like the macros and things that can be generated. So let me go ahead and just edit one of them here. Yeah, so you can change the font, the coloring, the style, different macros if you want to have and space them out. And it can actually get, you can actually customize them pretty.
Can I just ask,
heavily.
can you pull down that font bar? Can we,
Yeah.
how comprehensive is it? We have a very specific font we use. Is it possible to get that in there or paste it in?
I will have to ask the e-sign team.
Yes, please.
Good.
What's,
That's a good
what font?
question.
What
Yeah, what's
font
it
is
called?
It's,
We use Century Gothic.
Century Gothic. Okay, let me ask them.
And then just a follow-up question based on something somebody
Sure.
already asked, but I want to make sure we follow up is and how many of these settings can be made global so that everybody shares them, and how do we update them once they are, as they change? How do we make sure everybody has the latest?
I believe I'll have to ask the team, but I think most of these are global. It'll be set by the super admin. Of course, they can come up and customize or make their own email templates and things like that. But a lot of these that are default, kind of within, I believe, you shouldn't have any issues there. Any kind of setting should be global. There are small wins that can be customized per user if they would like to, but we'll see if we can get you some kind of list on that.
Okay. And then one more for me. I'll see if anybody else has any. If we just go back to the document, and again, the National Parks one is a great example.
Yeah.
Are you able to do an OCR to recognize the text so that you can say do search, but not actually visually change the document? So I don't want to convert it to text. I just want the OCR behind it.
Yes, this one's already fully editable. So let me if you wanted to maybe do like a TIFF image or, take
exactly.
If you wanted to just do searchable, that's not a problem. So we'll go to recognize text, we'll go to current file. So maybe if you don't want it to be editable or change anything, are you saying you just want it to be searchable text?
Yes, that's exactly what I want there.
And you also if you want to use the original image.
That's exactly what I want.
I got you covered. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now I can search and everything without changing the look of the original.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of medical, a lot of legal documents will use that option.
Right. Financial, tax, etc.
Yeah, etc. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all my questions. Does anybody else have any? Now's your chance.
I know we're 5 minutes over, but we
Nothing
can always
on
set
our
up more
end here.
time. Okay, I appreciate that. If you all ever need more time, we can do more in depth in the e-sign as well. If you play around with it and you see there's a lot of different settings or things you'd like to customize, we can get our whole e-sign team to help you out as well. So, well, I appreciate you all joining. I hope this was helpful, and I guess I'll throw you back to Steve if he has any last minute questions.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I'll get the recording over to you. And Matthew, keep the feedback coming. And I need to check. I apologize. I don't recall when we have your trial expiration set to end. But I'll remind you about that in an email, and we'll go from there. And I think you have your price quote.
I do. I have everything administrative wise. We just need to have enough time and enough people on the test to get them get us all comfortable.
Got it. Makes sense. All right. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to end the recording here. Get you the link, and please provide feedback. We want to support you. Okay.
All right. I really appreciate it. And if anybody has any other questions, just funnel them through me and I will get them answered.
That's great.
Thank you for your time, Steve.
Yep. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.